Hello there, and you're very welcome to the Arkham Avengers podcast. You join me, the host, along with Eamon, Hector, and Captain Fantastical Mick. Join us for some chat about football, crack, bold opinions, and a touch of chaos. From drama to questionable decisions, there's something here for everyone. So sit back, stay tuned, and enjoy the show. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Arkham Avengers podcast. Before anyone starts wondering if they've downloaded the wrong podcast, yes, we know the World Cup is still going on. Yes, there have been plenty of football matches over the past week. And yes, Hector is still somewhere in Brazil. Whether he's covering football or has simply forgotten where he's left his passport, we genuinely don't know. We've had no postcards, no voice notes, no WhatsApp, nothing. I'm beginning to think that he enjoys worrying us. I think he's taking pleasure at putting us in this position. I mean, hasn't he heard Brazil are out of the World Cup?
Well, I think, and hello to everybody out there listening, I think he's lying low, hoping we've forgotten he was supposed to make contact. I mean, I have a question here. Does this mean that he's off the panel now?
Oh, now hold on a second now, Mick. I don't think we'll go that far. I mean, that's a bit harsh, trying to get him off the panel just because we haven't heard from him. There may well be a very good reason for his silence. But anyways, we thought we'd take a little break from football this week because two stories landed on my desk during the week. One involved Mick, the other involved Eamon. And I have to say, neither one reflects particularly well on either of you.
Hold on a moment now. I think if you're going to talk about what I think you might be going to talk about, I'm objecting to this.
Can I just say something? I haven't heard the story about Eamon, but if he's objecting, then I'm going to object as well. Like, I'm not having this now.
Now lads, hold on. You can't just start objecting. I think our listeners might actually like to hear about this. Mick, I'm going to start with you first of all. And having read the little email and the report that came across my desk here, I believe you've embraced modern technology.
Absolutely not. No, this isn't what I think it is it? No.
Oh, but I heard you were taken to the technology.
No. Technology has embraced me, against my wishes, I may add.
Okay, so can you tell us about this smart speaker of yours? And what happened?
Right, well, can I say, first things first, I just want to say, I didn't buy this thing, just in case people start thinking, oh, Mick, he's bought himself one of these smart speakers and got himself into this position. No, that's not the case at all. No, my good wife decided it would make a nice present for me, and she said, this will make life easier. Well, when I heard her say that, I should have known there'll be more to this than meets the eye, because whenever someone says this is going to make life easier, it usually doesn't.
Okay, fair enough. So, you got this speaker. Surely you gave it a chance at the very least and you used it or tried it out?
I did. I genuinely did, yeah. I took it out of the box. I read half the instructions, got bored. Then I plugged it in.
Half of the instructions, you said. Well, I suppose that's progress, because I'd be surprised if you looked at the instructions at all.
Hey man, I'm a practical man. I mean, I look at the instructions and I think to myself, how difficult can this be? I mean, it says in the box, you plug it in, it speaks, simple, so they say.
Okay, and then what?
Well, after I plugged it in, this little blue light comes on, doesn't it? It starts flashing a little blue light. And a cheerful voice pops up and says, hello Mick, I don't mind telling you, I was having a cup of tea at the moment and I spilled the tea all over myself when I heard that there.
Why, it's just only the speaker.
And because it knew my name, it started talking to me.
I'm sure that at some point when you were setting it up, you must have put your name in and said, my name is Mick, and this is when I'm talking to you, you reply back to me and you can talk to me as Mick.
No. I don't recall putting my name in. No, and still, it's unsettling to have some yoke speaking to you. I mean, my kettle doesn't talk to me. My toaster doesn't even know my name. My microwave, it doesn't greet me in the morning. I mean, this thing starts saying, hello Mick.
Imagine if your toaster said, morning Eamon, fancy a bagel.
Eamon, that's how it starts. It always starts with the little hello. Next thing is asking about your day. And before you know it, it's got your bank details.
Mick, you're suspicious about absolutely everything. And I mean, I think you're taking this to a total different level now.
No, I'm not. I'm telling you, that thing, it starts answering back. It starts calling out my name. I mean, that's just not right, so it's not.
Okay, so you've it plugged in. It says, hello, Mick. It's introduced itself. What's the first question you asked it?
Okay, well, I thought I'd keep it simple. And I asked, what's the weather like today? And you know something? It provided a perfect answer, telling me about the temperature. There was a chance of rain. I have to say, I was impressed, and I thought to myself, maybe I've judged this thing a little bit too quickly here. Maybe it has got a use. Then, without me asking anything at all, it says, would I like to know today's headlines? No, I don't, I said. I only want to know the weather and to know whether I needed a raincoat. I didn't ask it about any news or the state of the world there. I think it was trying to be helpful. It was following on from your question about the weather. And usually weather and news follow hand in hand, Mick. Helpful. I only asked the one question. Suddenly he's trying to interview me, so it is.
Did you give it an answer?
I said, no thanks. Very polite as always polite. And guess what it said? Go on. No problem, Mick. That's it. No problem, Mick. Now we're on first name terms.
I don't see any issue here, I have to say. I mean, it said you asked it a question and it said, no problem. What did you expect it to say?
Okay, so you're getting off to a rough start with this now, Mick. So did things improve or go downhill at all?
Okay, so I didn't go near it again there. On Tuesday morning, I'm making a cup of tea and I'm waiting on my toast. I'm minding my own business. I'm not talking. I'm not asking any questions of anybody. I'm not singing to myself. Just standing there with my knife. I've got my butter in hand, waiting for the toast, and I just give a little bit of a cough. I mean, a cough. It's not dramatic or anything like that. I just go, next thing, blue light lights up. I'm sorry, Mick. I didn't quite catch that. Well, I nearly jumped out the freaking window, so I did there. I didn't expect this thing coming out of it.
And Mick, I probably thought you were talking to her.
I wasn't talking to her. I just gave a little cough. Surely this thing knows the difference between a cough and a conversation.
Well, apparently not. Or maybe you need to be concerned about the way you cough, because perhaps people might think that you're actually talking to them when you're actually coughing at them.
I've just become really self-conscious about this. I mean, I can't even mutter to myself in the house anymore there. I can't sing. I can't complain about the weather. Every time I open my mouth, the little blue light's coming on here. And sometimes it comes out with, I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
You do know, Mick, you can turn the microphone off on it.
Why didn't someone tell me that before? And I spent 3 days whispering in my own kitchen before I found out anything about that. I had to go back to the instructions again, didn't I?
3 days?
I wasn't taking any chances, was I? It's listening. I'm not giving it anything.
And can I ask a question? What did your wife have to say about this, that you're wandering around there whispering?
Well, she did ask. She says, Mick, what are you whispering about there? Well, I couldn't reply, could I? The speaker was sitting there beside us, so it is. So I had to go and get an envelope and write down my answer to it. And she's looking at me, scratching her head, wondering, have I lost my marbles here?
Are you trying to tell us here, Mick? Did you honestly believe it was spying on you?
I'm not saying it was. I'm saying, how do I know it wasn't spying on me?
Well, I can tell you honestly, Mick, I mean, nobody in California or anywhere else is going to be interested in listening to you debating whether you're going to have rich tea biscuits, digestives, or Jaffa cakes. I mean, honestly, Mick, do you think someone's going to be tuning in listening to that there?
Well, I'm telling you, Eamon, that's exactly what they want you to think. They want you to think they're not listening to you there. They want to think that they're tuned out and that you don't have to worry about nothing all the time. They're building a database about you there, so they are there.
Okay, right. So the question was a little bit upside down there. You got an answer, but then there was a follow-up question that you weren't happy with.
I certainly wasn't happy with it. I mean, I only asked it one question. I certainly didn't want it to start coming out, like Larry Gogan's golden hour asking loads of questions at me. No way, I wasn't having any of that there. Okay,
so tell me this here. Did you ask her to play any music? After all, these devices are quite popular for listening to music and playing radio stations and podcasts.
Yeah, well, I did. I thought I'll give it a go here again. I mean, what can go wrong? I only want to play a little bit of music, and I mean, that can't be difficult. So I said to it, play Johnny Cash. I mean, I like a little bit of Johnny Cash. I mean, who doesn't like a little bit of Johnny Cash? What is this yoke started doing? Started playing Johnny Logan. I mean, how do you get Johnny Logan out of Johnny Cash?
Maybe it's your accent.
There's nothing wrong with my accent. I've been speaking like this all my life and everybody understands what I'm saying.
Well, maybe you weren't close enough to it.
Close enough. I'm standing beside it. I said, will you play some Johnny Cash for me? It gives me Johnny Logan. That's like asking for a cup of tea and getting a bowl of soup instead, so it is. They're completely different. I even thought I'd ask it an intellectual question. What's the meaning of life? What did it come back with? Have you tried asking Eamon? He seems to have an opinion on everything.
I like this speaker. I could do with this speaker in my house, so I could. But after this Johnny Logan Johnny Cash malarkey. I mean, did you correct it? I mean, did you say, I don't want Johnny Logan, I want Johnny Cash?
Of course I did. I told her to stop very firmly. And you know what it said?
No, what did it say?
I'm always here if you need me. Tell me, that's creepy. You have to agree, lads, that's creepy.
Well, I'm not sure if it's creepy. I mean, it's giving an answer back again there, so it is. You know what? Make some of these devices, they try and build up a rapport, trying to get to know you.
Well, I don't want to know it, do it? Oh, anyway, I wasn't having any more of that now, so it's unplugged.
So that's the problem solved, is it? Just unplug it?
Well, mostly, but I have to say, sometimes I'll be walking through the kitchen and I just give a glance over and I swear sometimes I can see that little blue light flickering sometimes.
You're watching too many movies. I mean, what? You've a plugged out and the blue light's flickering at you. I mean, where are you going with this, Mick?
I think you've just invented the world's first haunted smart speaker, Mick, with that there. So if it unplugged and the blue light's still flashing,
well, sometimes I think it is, but it depends on the sunlight coming in through the window, if flickery light comes across. I don't know, sometimes it just looks like it's flashing at me sometimes there. You can laugh all you want, lads, but if you've got one of these in your house and it starts ordering washing up liquid without asking, don't come looking to me for sympathy, alright?
Alright, okay. So that's Mick and the speaker there. So you're not impressed with it, Mick?
I'm not impressed with it. I'd rather a decent book or something like that, or a golf club. I don't know what a wife bought that yoke. It's caused nothing but grief now to me, so it doesn't. I have no peace in my house. She's talking about getting these little lights that you can switch on and off remotely with Wi-Fi. That's going to be the next thing. The lights are all going to be flashing at me next.
Right, I think so, Eamon. We might turn to you and you might talk to us about your trip to IKEA. It's supposed to be 30 minutes of a trip to get a bookcase. One bookcase, we might add here. And this turned into a 4-hour expedition, according to what's in front of me here. So, Eamon, all you needed was one bookcase. Surely this can't be much of a story.
Well, that's what I exactly thought. I mean, I got up last Saturday morning. I had breakfast and as I was passing by my study, I realised there's a lot of books lying around on the floor. And I thought to myself, go over to IKEA, Eamon, grab yourself a bookcase. I'll be home by lunchtime, put it together, books all sorted. And, I thought, there's no point buying one online. I'll be waiting days. I get it on the day, build it on the day. And that's what I thought. I mean, that's a simple, logical thing, isn't it?
Okay, well, that's your first mistake there, Eamon.
Which part of that now? The thinking that he could logically have it together, or the visit to IKEA?
No, he's thinking about going to IKEA in a quick run. I mean, nobody has ever said, I'll be over in IKEA for 10 minutes. That's impossible. It can't be done.
I know that now. So I parked up and I walked towards the entrance. And immediately there's families arriving with lunch boxes, bottles of water. There's children in buggies and they've got food underneath them there. And I realised there was something not right with this here. And then it looked like they were preparing for an expedition. And I was the only one walking in empty-handed there.
Okay, so you walked through the door. What happens then?
I walked into what looked like somebody's dream house. A living room. Then there was a bedroom. A kitchen, looked like little apartments. I wasn't shopping anymore. I found that I was viewing rooms here. That was somebody's property that I was wandering around.
Well, that's exactly it. You don't go to IKEA, Eamon. Remember this, you move into IKEA.
Well, okay, so did you manage to ignore all of that and get to where the bookcases were located?
Well, I tried, but every corner had something that made me stop. And it might be like, oh, that's a nice lamp, or that sofa would suit the sitting room. I like those cushions there. Those pillows look nice. Oh, look, there's a table and chairs. And 20 minutes later, I'd actually forgotten what I went in for. I had to stop and rethink.
It's hypnosis.
What do you mean, Mick? It's hypnosis?
It's hypnosis. See those little arrows on the floor? They're controlling people. You just keep following them. Nobody asks any questions in IKEA. Everybody's pushing a trolley, looking confused, but they're following the arrows.
Well, he's not entirely wrong there, I have to say, because you don't get to decide where you're going. You have to follow the arrows. So the arrows are deciding for you where you're going. I lost count in the amount of times I found myself in bedrooms and I didn't know how I was winding up in them.
Okay, but eventually you must have found the bookcase.
Eventually I did, and I have to say it looked magnificent. There it was, built together, looking brilliantly, exactly what I was looking for. Not too big, not too small, perfect size, perfect colour, perfect price. I thought to myself, brilliant. And then I look around, there's no other bookcases. There's nothing for books here. This was the display units I was looking at.
That's classic, Eamon. Yeah, they catch you with that all the time.
So I looked around and I noticed other people were jotting down little numbers or figures, and they were underneath on the display units or beside them or on them. And I spotted this little label, so it said to me, this is a warehouse location, aisle 42, bay 3, shelf 11. I mean, the stuff that I was writing down, I thought I was taking coordinates from NASA at one point there.
So did you get to warehouse 42?
Not at first, I didn't. I didn't know where it was. And I happened to spot a staff member in IKEA going by, and lovely young fella, couldn't be more helpful. So I said to him, where is this warehouse? And he said, he pointed and he says, just follow the arrows.
Back to the arrows again, huh? There we go. Tell you, no getting away from those arrows.
So Eamon, off you go anyway. You're following the arrows to the warehouse.
Yeah, well, honestly, I've walked shorter distances on holidays. By the time I reached the warehouse, I was considering taking a break and sitting down, but there was no seats or anything to sit down on there. So.
Did you need oxygen?
No, nearly. But I rallied, Mick. I rallied, and I finally made it to Bay G. There was a box with the bookcase in it. The only problem was the box looked much bigger than I anticipated, and I thought to myself, it is bigger than what I expected. So I'm standing in this warehouse thinking, how am I going to get this home here?
Are you saying that you didn't even measure the space in the car for this?
No, I didn't think I had to, because what I envisaged and looked on the website told me it was, this size and that wide. And I thought, that'll fit in the car, no problem. This other thing, I mean, it looked like I was buying a patio. Anyhow, I had to wrestle it off the shelf and I put it on one of those flat trolleys that you can push around, and this trolley seemed to have a mind of its own. Every time I went to turn left, it wanted to go right.
With the wheels locked or something?
No, they weren't locked. I was starting to think that I was locked, and then I started to think I probably would have been better off locked, trying to control this yoke here.
See those trolleys? They've got a mind of their own. Plus, there's always one of those wheels and it's wonky and it keeps spinning around there, and you're fighting to keep the trolley straight. And those things should be banned, or they should be serviced every week, every year. Some of them are shocking altogether.
I understand what you're saying there, Mick, because this thing was going left, right. I was trying to avoid people, and instead I nearly clipped the display of lamps. It was shaking, and some woman looked at me as if I'd driven a tractor through the shop.
Did you apologise to her?
Of course I apologised. I wouldn't. I said, excuse me, the trolley's a little bit wonky. She remarked something about, it's not the trolley that's wonky, I think it's you. I didn't respond to that. So I ended up apologising about 4 times, until it was the 4th time I realised I'm apologising to a mannequin, so I gave up on that there. So eventually, Eamon,
you have to have reached the checkout.
Well, I did, eventually, and I was relieved, and I thought to myself, right, the nightmare is over. And the girl then is scanning the bookcase. Lovely, everything's fine. Then she says, would you like anything else today?
That's a dangerous question in IKEA, Eamon. You never respond to that question there.
Well, Mick, if you spent 4 hours wandering around IKEA, I convinced myself that I needed a few other bits and pieces.
Okay, so what did you pick up?
3 scented candles, 2 tea towels, fake plant, 1 lamp, and those cinnamon biscuits that people were always talking about. I bought a packet of dust, I did, and yeah, they were very nice, I have to say, when I had them later on there.
That's the IKEA starter pack there, host. They got him on that side of the day.
Okay, so you've checked out. So the moment of truth, you arrive back over to the car. What happens?
Well, I've opened the boot. I looked at the box with the bookcase. I looked at the size of the boot. I looked back at the box. I closed the boot. I opened the boot again. I thought about my life choices.
You're saying it didn't fit, Eamon. That's what you're trying to tell us.
No, it wasn't fitting in there. The box happened to be sticking out the boot of the car about 2 feet.
What did you do?
Well, I let the seats down, of course, for a start, trying to make room.
And that didn't help?
No, it didn't. It helped a little bit, but it still was sticking out there. And eventually, I had to drive with the boot tied down there.
And tell us, Eamon, did you have rope with you or a piece of string?
No, I didn't. I found an old extension lead lying on the floor at the back of the seat there, and I used an extension lead. That's all I had. That's what I could do, and I wasn't going back into that place looking for a string or rope, or I'd have been another 4 hours trying to get out there.
Finally, you get home, so that has to be the end of the story.
It's not quite the end of the story, I have to say. I opened the box, and there's hundreds of little bits. There's bags of screws, there's wooden pegs, there's a tiny Allen key, and there's instructions that look like they've been drawn by Picasso.
So you read the instructions this time, did you?
No, I looked at the front page and a bit like you, I thought this can't be difficult. I built things before and it took me 3 hours to build it.
It still was a success. Happy with the result, all your hard work?
It's not the bookcase that I was looking for. Well, as I said, when I was online, I spotted the bookcase. And what I came home with is much bigger. I don't know what happened. Perhaps maybe I took the wrong details down. I don't know what happened. But look, it's up.
And is it standing, Eamon? I mean, is it standing straight? It's not leaning or anything like that.
Well, it does lean ever so slightly.
Okay. Well, here's the big question. This is for everybody putting flat backs together. How many screws had you left over?
I had 6, 7, maybe 8 screws.
6, 7 or 8 screws. Eamon, they're not decorations. They're meant to be used.
So hold on. After 4 hours in IKEA and 3 hours of building, the extension lead holding the boot closed, and now you have a slightly leaning bookcase. Well, look, when you put it like that, yeah, it doesn't sound very good, does it? No?
At least my speaker came assembled, so I didn't have to worry about that there.
Lads, I have to say something here. I don't know which one of you had the worst week.
Oh, definitely I had the worst week.
It's not a chance you had the worst week. You got a speaker. I had to go out to IKEA and I had to go and battle my way through there.
Mick, do you want to plead your case?
Okay, well, can I go first and just say that I now own a device that wakes up every morning waiting for me to say something, and I'm convinced it's listening all day long.
Mick, you told us that it was unplugged.
Well, that's what you think.
Hold on, you said you plugged it out and you still think it's listening?
Well, tell me this. Why is there a little light coming on there?
Probably because you forgot to unplug the extension lead or something like that there. You know, there's probably a team of engineers somewhere in the world. They've spent years developing the technology for this speaker, and they've heard you talking, and now they're thinking, we've made a terrible mistake there.
Well, I'd like to meet them because I've got a couple of questions for them there.
Okay, what sort of questions would you ask them now, Mick, if you were with them?
I'd be asking, why does it interrupt me? Why does it think I want more washing up liquid? Or why, when I ask for Johnny Cash, it's giving me Johnny Logan?
I'd still love to know how you asked for it.
I asked for it perfectly clearly, Eamon. What do you think I was going to ask it for?
Go on then, pretend we're the speaker. Tell us how you asked for it.
Oh, I said to it, play Johnny Cash.
And then it just plays Johnny Logan.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened.
Okay. And Eamon, how's the bookcase doing?
It's doing well, thanks for asking.
Has it fallen over yet?
No, it hasn't fallen over. No, it hasn't.
I'll give it a bit of time. We're just settling in at the moment there.
But have you put anything on it?
I put a couple of books on it. Not as many as I expected. I put a plant and a photograph on it there.
And don't put too much on it now, Eamon. Remember, 6, 7 or 8 screws not gone into that there.
They are spare screws, Mick.
Eamon, I'm telling you, there's no such thing as spare screws. That's a myth that's been started by DIY shops.
Okay, I think I'm with Mick on this one, because whenever you finish building something and there's bits left over, that's usually an indication that you have missed something along the construction of the bookshelf.
It's standing. It might be leaning a little bit, but it's still upright. It's holding a few bits and pieces, and I'm happy with it.
You're happy for now. Give it a couple of weeks. You'll be shouting about this and you're telling you probably threw it in the fire.
Can I make an observation? I mean, both of you started the week trying to improve your lives. Mick, you embraced technology.
I don't know about that.
But look, you did. And Eamon, you decided to buy furniture.
Yeah, that's the last time I tried that, because I don't normally buy furniture. I'm more the creative, the artist, putting the words down to paper or putting them to air there. Usually the rest of the house is left to the other members to decorate it and to buy furniture, and I think that's my way of going anymore. I'm not going back into that again. I'm not going back into the furniture world. I think I know where I belong.
Okay, so by the end of the week, one of you is whispering in your own kitchen and the other one is driving down the motorway with an extension lead holding their boot closed.
Oh, I suppose when you say like that, it doesn't sound very good, does it? It sounds like we've had a bit of a poor week.
It's not an ideal week, is it? Yeah.
Before we wrap up, Mick, have you any plans for this smart speaker?
Well, I'm going to keep it.
Really?
I'm going to leave it unplugged. That'll teach it there.
Okay, I'm sure it's devastated with that. I mean, it'll probably be putting in a complaint about you somewhere there.
Okay, and Eamon, any plans for return to IKEA? I know you said you're not going back into the furniture world again.
Absolutely not. I need a bookshelf again. I'll ask Mick to build it, so I will do.
Certainly not. I'm not building any bookcases for you because I don't have any of these screws lying around except for the few I told you about them.
Well, I think that's probably as good a place as any to leave it. We've learned several valuable lessons this week. Never underestimate modern technology. Never underestimate a trip to IKEA. Always measure the boot of your car before you buy any furniture. And if a smart speaker ever greets you by name, don't tell Mick. Folks, thanks very much for listening. Hope you've enjoyed the show. Hope you're all well. And hope you've enjoyed this little break from the football. And if you've enjoyed today's episode, tell a friend, subscribe to us, leave a rating. And if you have any of your own stories there about technology or surviving trips to furniture stores, we'd love to hear from you on that. So look, all that remains for me is to say thank you. We will be back with our next episode probably in about 2 weeks' time. Mick, you're going off to Spain for a walk.
That's right, I'm going to get some heat. Yeah, I'm off to a Camino walk for myself.
Do you not realise, Mick, that it's actually quite warm here in the country?
I know that, but it tends to be just warm for 1 day or two and then it's rain. I'm off for 10 days off for a walk, okay?
All right, well, enjoy yourself then. You will be back.
Yeah, I'll be back. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I'll be back.
Eamon, any plans for yourself?
I've got a little bit of a writing project that I'm working on, and look, I'm going to just get myself stuck into that now, since we don't have to talk too much about football or do any prep for the show here as such.
Well, okay, and we hopefully probably might have an update from Hector, but we won't hold our breaths on that. So, from myself, from Eamon, Mick, and of course wherever Hector is in the world, thanks for listening. Take care of yourselves, have a good day, stay safe, and we'll be back. Slán.